We're back, people, and today we're doing another film breakdown on Devon Achane, Miami Dolphins' newest running back. Obviously, I just did a video on him, but I didn't get to really focus on his receiving work in that video. And after seeing, some people talk about it, they think he's solid. He was used a decent amount at Texas A&M, but I see a lot of untapped receiving potential after going back to previous years in Achane's game, and I think he's going to be even a better receiver at the next level. Like, obviously, he comes to your team, and he's your best, check down option out of the backfield. You want to get him the ball out in space. I believe Mike McDaniel will try to even get him a lot of design touches on screens and things of that nature. He's versatile. He can line up, obviously, in the backfield, but also on the slot and make plays. And he just brings a lot of explosiveness to this team. Another area I really like him is working vertically down the field. He has a lot of vertical reps in the Texas A&M offense, and he caught a lot of them. Very reliable hands down the field. Dolphins did work some running backs down the field vertically last season, and pretty much all of them turned into drops, like the Chase Edmonds drop touchdown versus the Bengals. Jeff Wilson had a big long drop versus the 49ers, which he was wide open. There was another, you can line him up pretty much anywhere you want. Makes adjustments. He has solid hands, tracking ability. None of it at Texas A&M. So that's why I think he has a ton of potential, because he has the athleticism, the ankle flexion to change direction, run those routes. He just needs to work on the timing and pace of those things a little bit better, but he just doesn't have a lot of experience doing those things. So I really think he can become even better at that at the next level. And it's something that, the Dolphins definitely value and want to see more of. And he understands how to find those soft spot versus zone, but you get him in a mismatch versus a linebacker, let him use his athleticism, he can make some big plays at the next level. I trust Mike McDaniel to really, go into his bag and use him in a very versatile way, because Achane is going to bring a lot to this offense as a receiver, more than people expect. Achane, out of the backfield, working on a wheel route. They love to use him vertically, especially in the past seasons, 2021, things like this. Running backs do not make these catches very typically. This may seem easy. It's a great throw. He's really not doing anything crazy in the route. He's just winning vertically down the field with his speed. But catching this over the shoulder as a running back, 20 yards down the field in stride, he tracks it in beautifully, never slows down. This is impressive work for a running back. And we saw how many drops can happen from a running back at the next level on these types of routes. And it happens all the time. A lot of running backs do not make these catches, and Achane was making them pretty routinely on the film. And he had a decent amount of opportunities. That's probably where he had his most opportunities, was working vertically down the field, and he caught them in stride like this, or a lot of them were not bad throws, but a little more inaccurate. So he had to make adjustments, and he caught a lot of those too, hands away from the frame. Doesn't have the biggest catch radius, but with two at quarterback, you don't really need to have the biggest catch radius. Most of the receivers on the Dolphins do not have big catch radiuses, and they still, make a lot of plays down the field vertically. Another example of how you can use Achane as a vertical threat, we saw him working down the sideline on the wheel route. This time they just attack it straight down the middle versus, you face two high coverages, and this is an area you can use Achane. It looks like he's just going to come into block, and he just releases in between the guard and the tackle. Love the creativity of this, and then the linebackers aren't going to keep up with his speed down the field. Ball's even thrown behind him. He makes the adjustment to catch this and get up the field vertically. So many different ways to use Achane as a downfield threat, which, I think it's an underrated trait of his ability as a receiver. People I've seen talk about it, solid, decent, solid, those types of words they just keep using over and over again, slightly above average. I think he is a good receiver right now with the potential to be great if he can just work on the route running a little bit. It's not terrible, but it's definitely something that he can work on in the option angle route type of areas. And then obviously Achane as a check down option. This is where he got a lot of work in college. Ball slightly thrown behind him. He makes a quick adjustment, makes people miss out in space. Very simple stuff. Ball thrown behind him, but he's still able to flip his hips around and get upfield quickly, snap his eyes, and then accelerate, make those people miss. He does a good job of, slow playing it, then accelerating to get around this defensive lineman, and then he, gets out of bounds, tackled. Actually, that's Cam Smith, the Dolphins' second-round pick, that actually gets the tackle on him, pushes him out of bounds. But yeah, just a check-down option, very solid player. Another area you can use him is a design touch. The screens, we're going to show some screens, but this is just sort of, getting him the ball out on a swing route with blockers out in front, more receivers, tight ends. First and 20, you just want to make those yards back up. Achane is just another player in the Dolphins offense. You can get out these quick manufactured touches too. Another time he has to adjust, flip his hips around, catch it, still get upfield. Probably didn't even need to flip his hips. I mean, yeah, definitely. He probably did need to flip his hips, actually. But still, catching this very comfortably. He has the reliable hands. And then accelerate, get upfield. He makes it look very easy, smooth, maximize your yards, first and 20 situation. And then you turn it, into like a 2nd and 6. Achane working out of the backfield again. This time just tacking down the seam. There's so many different ways they've worked him as a vertical threat. One just straight down the middle. We've seen him on the wheel. And now just working down the seam. Really love how he sort of, look at his angle here. It looks like he's going to attack the wheel. And then he just takes, based on this linebacker's leverage, he takes this hard cut to the inside, takes the inside path on him, snaps his head around before he's even past the linebacker, knowing that he's going to be in like these triangle of defenders right here. So finds a soft spot in the zone, makes the adjustment, catches it with his hands away from the frame because this ball is thrown behind him. Just a comfortable hands catcher down the field. Really, really nice play there from Devon Achane. This is definitely something I could see him doing in the Dolphins offense. Texas A&M goes RPO and then throw the ball out to Achane in the flat on the opposite side. Obviously, Dolphins run a ton of RPO. Not this specific one exactly, but they will run, their go-to where it's the slant, the flat, the wheel. And Achane could probably be any of the options, but you're probably going to see him be more of this flat option or even the wheel route. But getting him the ball, out here, and you can use his speed to score, get to the end zone. Just another area where I think he fits in perfectly to this Miami Dolphins offense. Manufactured screen here for Achane. Little like angle route type of screen, different type of usage, but just so many different ways that he can be used out of the backfield. The screen game for sure, just another option where he can catch the ball. First of all, snags it away from his frame. Ball is not perfectly thrown, but you can see the reliable hands there and pulls it in right away, gets upfield, transitions, works off the backs of his blocks, runs through some tackle, plays with some toughness, making, a nice play there on a screen. Basically the first screen that I've shown, but there's so many different ways that he's been used throughout this video. The versatility is so key to that untapped receiving potential. I really like this play from Achane as this check down option, getting him the ball in the flat just because this ball is not thrown great. That is a tough catch to make for a running back. And then we'll just watch this. Ball is thrown all the way out here. He's fully extended and it's thrown in an awkward area where you don't know if you should catch it over the top or down below. But he makes this tough catch and is sort of off balance, but instantly gathers himself and makes somebody miss. He's already ready to transition up the field. These types of cuts are so important for running backs or players out in space. Just a quick 1-2, get upfield, stay square, pick up, a nice 5-6 yards. Those types of plays you're going to take every single time. And I feel like the Dolphins are going to want more checkdowns because they pushed the ball down the field vertically so much last season that, the checkdown option was there a decent amount. It's just they didn't always either have that option or Tua was trying to, push it down the field vertically because those guys were open a lot, so he should have pushed it down the field vertically. But taking those checkdown options for certain teams because they really played what the Dolphins' strengths were, it's going to be super important and then will open up the vertical options again in certain games. This is a different type of, and this is a good job staying with your quarterback, rolls out to the left. He's trying to just sit down here, but he's seeing the quarterback escape, so he starts rolling with him, snaps his eyes down the field to see the open spot. So he starts floating away. Once he's going to start to block, but sees the quarterback wants to throw a football intelligent type of play there from Achane. Another rep of Achane going down the field vertically. So many plays of this on the film. Another one where he has to adjust from behind him. Would like to see him stay on his feet here, obviously, but this ball thrown behind him. Running backs struggle a lot of times when you see them off balance like this. Ball has to fully extend, go above, feet are off the ground behind him, and he makes the adjustment. Falls down a little bit, but still just making the catch is so important. Don't see a lot of running backs doing this. Like, there's so many drops that I've seen at the NFL level, at the college level from running backs, and Achane consistently makes these types of plays. But I think the most important part is the flip of the hips. Ball thrown behind him again. So many times where he has to adjust the ball, but flip the hips, catch it, and still able to get upfield. So many times you see receivers, running backs, where they have to flip their hips. It slows them down a lot, but you can see he's fluid, catches it, and a lot of times players drop the ball when they have to flip their hips. It's a good sign to see how comfortable they are catching the ball when they have to flip their hips right at the catch point, which Achane has done plenty of, so I definitely trust his hands at the next level. Another screen, similar to the first one, how Achane catches this, gets upfield 2nd and 15. He just maximizes yardage here, makes it a 3rd and 2. We'll watch it from this angle, but it's first, a difficult catch. He has to catch it low and away from the frame. He hangs on to it. He's even off balance right here, should fall. Look at that ankle flexion. Like, this is impressive ankle flexion to stay on your feet here. Like, that is the stuff you want to see when a player has that type of ankle flexion. Usually, you're looking at like edge defenders and how they can bend to get to the quarterback. This is how he can bend, run his routes, make angle breaks, work out in the open field, make people miss. But staying on his feet there, picking up, maximizing his yardage after the catch. Really impressive stuff there from Devon Achane.